it's got me. Hey everybody, good morning. We hope that you're having a great start to your Tuesday. Want to welcome you to our time of Advent devotion this morning here at KCC Online. If you're joining us for the first time, this is something we're doing every day in the month of December, right here at 9 a.m. And we're so glad that you're joining us today. We've been reading through a devotional book called Come Let Us Adore Him by Paul David Tripp. And what we found is that it's just kind of a great way to come together, kind of as we start our mornings and just kind of set our hearts in the right place, remember what this time of year is all about, because I don't know about you, but I could use a little bit of the joy and the peace and the hope of Christmas this year, and I think a lot of us could. So today's reading is a little bit longer, so I'm going to go right into it. It's from December the 8th, and this might be something that you can relate to. Just let me know in the comments if you do. We've all had those weird, awkward moments with others. You probably hate those kind of moments as much as I do. You say something that doesn't come out quite right, or what comes out is embarrassing. And your embarrassing little quip is then followed by what is probably a few seconds, but what seems to you to be an eternity of silence. You then feel the need to explain, but you just end up digging a deeper and deeper hole for yourself. You wish one of your listeners would rise to your rescue, but no one does. Finally, something else happens that grabs everybody else's attention, and the horribly awkward moment ends. But it doesn't really end for you, does it? In fact, you carry it with you the rest of the night. In fact, it is the pain of the moment that wakes you up the next morning. A few years later, that awkward moment has morphed into a humorous story, and you retell it over and over again to the delight and amusement of your friends. I want you to think today about the most horribly awkward moment in human history. This one wasn't a minor moment of embarrassment, and it will never morph into a humorous story. As you read the account, you know you are dealing with something so shocking, so out of place that the world would never be the same after this moment. Every time I read about it, I want to weep. Every time I think about it, I am hit with the painful thought that it really did happen, and that we still see the results of it in our own lives today. When you read it, you better know that this is not the way things were meant to be, or you will never understand the biblical story, and Christmas will never make the kind of sense that it should for you. Here is the Bible's account of this horribly awkward moment. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself." "Who told you that you were naked?" said the Lord God. "Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you not to eat of?" And the man said, "The woman whom you gave me to be with, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I ate." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" And the woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Adam and Eve had just endured the first awkward, embarrassing, shame-inducing moment between them. For the first time, they realized that they were without clothing, and they felt instant shame. This is an immediate clue to their disobedience and the fact that it had destroyed their innocence, and the fact that human relationships would never be the same again. But that sad and shameful moment pales in comparison to what happened next. God was walking through the garden, and rather than being filled with awe and joy at the thought of his presence, Adam and Eve were filled with fear. Their reaction was weird, awkward, and unusual. They had been designed for intimate, moment-by-moment, loving and worshipful communion with God. They were made to delight in him and he in them. They were created to live in an unbreakable bond of love with him. So their reaction is strange and out of place. It tells us that something has gone drastically wrong. God notices that they have not approached him with the usual expectant joy, and so he calls out to them, inquiring where they are. Adam answers and confesses that he was naked and afraid. The effects of sin are immediate and catastrophic. The bond between God and mankind was broken. Fear had replaced love. Hiding had replaced communion. Adam and Eve were not only damaged spiritually, but they lost a huge chunk of what made them human. It is a tragedy of historic and universal proportion. Made to live in the center of God's love, people hide from Him. In the psyche of every human being since lives this weird and uncomfortable battle between hunger for God and a desire to hide from God. Sin has broken the most important relationship in all of life, the relationship between people and their Creator. That separation alters everything in each of our lives. That is why it is so wonderful and encouraging to know that Jesus came to earth to be the Prince of Peace. Through His life, death, and resurrection, He would make peace between God and us. By His righteous life, He would earn our acceptance with God and purchase our rights to be God's children. It is this vertical peace that then allows us to live in peace and harmony with one another. The fearful awkwardness between us and God has been forever broken by Jesus, so we can run with confidence into God's presence and know that He will never turn us away. Well, I hope that devotional today has been a blessing to you, and what a great reminder of what Jesus Christ came to do, that He came to be our Prince of Peace. He has made peace with God when we never could. So today, remember that and be encouraged that if you feel afar off from God, if you feel like you're losing your relationship with Him, or you feel like you're distant from Him, just remember that Jesus came to bridge that divide. And all you have to do is place your faith in Him, and you are right with God forever. So thanks so much for joining us. If this has been an encouragement to you, we hope that you'll share this video with your friends on social media, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow at 9 a.m. for our next time of Advent devotion together, right here at KCC Online.